A warm welcome to everyone. It's my privilege to introduce our guest, Dr. TZK Murthy Garu, former director of ISRO. Dr. TZK Murthy sir secured gold medal both at graduate and postgraduate levels. The post-graduation is done in optical engineering from Andhra University in 1967. After working as a research scholar, he joined in Space Science and Technology Center of ISRO in 1969 and initiated the electro-optical activities. He went to Adelaide University of Australia on study leave and completed his PhD in 1977. Then he became an outstanding scientist and deputy director of ISRO Satellite Center. He served ISRO in various capacities for 42 years before retiring as Director, Atmospheric Science Program, ISRO, Bangalore. He has done extensive research activities in areas of thin film and optical technologies and electro-optical instrumentation and published 160 papers in international journals. And some of his publications were adjudged as the best in the world literature. He developed a number of novel electro-optical systems having application in diverse disciplines such as agriculture, geology, and defense and space sciences. Under his guidance, the optical technologies such as electrical optical systems for imaging of Earth resources and atmosphere were brought to the international standards. The entire electro-optical systems such as WIFS, AWIFS, LISS-3, LISS-4, high-resolution TES optics, CARTO-2A, B, VHRR, AVHRR, etc. were successfully realized and flown on various satellites such as IRS-1C, satellite IRS-1D, satellite P3, satellite TES, satellite INSAT-2E, satellite 3A with excellent onboard performance. Also, the state-of-art technology such as ion beam polishing, large area silicon carbide are firmly established for the next generation spaceborne optics. He received 6 times NRDC Government of India Awards, WISTEC Award, AFCCI Award, FICCI Award, IETE Gold Medal Awards for the significant contribution in optical and thin film and instrumentation areas. He was awarded the prestigious ASI Award in 2002 in recognition of his contribution to spacecraft and related technologies. He is now a fellow of Academy of Sciences and deeply interested in science and philosophy. He is keenly interested in spreading the Indian science and spirituality among younger generation. He is an ardent follower of Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna, and Ma Sarada. He has written a book on Swami Vivekananda, which is available as Swami Vivekananda, an Intuitive Scientist, which became popular among youngsters. Swami Harshanandaji Maharaj, Ramakrishna Mission, while writing his foreword to this book, he mentioned the last sentence that TZK Murthy sir is the student of Swami Vivekananda. As he mentioned this, TZK Murthy sir got the essence of Swami Vivekananda ideas. That's why Swami Harshanandaji Maharaj mentioned TZK Murthy sir as a student of Swami Vivekananda. Today, we got an opportunity to listen about Swami Vivekananda and modern science from Dr. TZK Murthy sir. On behalf of Sri Sharada Sahitya Kala Vijnana Mandiram, I humbly request Dr. TZK Murthy sir to start his lecture.
Salutations to Holy Trinity. Salutations to the Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Vedanta, Bhavadhara, Satsanga organizers, and then Sri Sharada Sahitya Kala Vijnana Mandiram. Beloved elders, respected Swamijis, sharing of the views of this one, my beloved children, I am extremely happy to be with you all and share in the next few minutes about Swami Vivekananda and his science. What are his contributions? Through slides I will go, and later after making the presentation, I will take up the questions or answer sessions. We will try to fill as many questions as possible. With this one, I'll just go for the slides now.
Yes, sir, we are
Uh,
able to see.
Are you able to see?
Yes, sir, we are able to see, sir.
Yeah. Is the voice very clear?
Yes, sir, it is very clear.
Very, very happy, very happy. The very first slide shows how Swami Vivekananda is such a universal personality. In one word, it speaks. He is a phenomenal, multifaceted personality. About such a personality, he is a spiritually very well known all over the globe, but some of the youngsters may be wondering, what is the type of the science that what he has done? This is the subject for today's discussion. You see in this slide, our ancients during the Vedic time, during the Upanishad time, Puranas, Itihasas, Ramayana, Bharata, Bhagavad Gita, etc., etc., not only our spirituality, but even science is also embedded. All of you know very well India's great contribution. People, they say it is zero. Yes, it is zero. But without that zero, today we would not have had the computers, the digital systems, or anything. Even Einstein says we owe a lot to Indians because they contributed the numbers based on that one that is there. And then in the area of Ayurveda, in the area of psychology, in the area of the metallurgy, in the so many engineering aspects, Indians have made contribution even before the word science has coined 300 years ago. Now, so what it means is that Indians, even through 3,000, 4,000 years back itself, they have synthesized science as well as the spirituality. The Surya Siddhanta, which is the oldest one that is known to the man, it deals with the Khagola Shastra about the planets and how they orbit. Even Schrödinger says, who was a Nobel laureate, the unity and continuity that we find in Vedanta, I find the same unity and continuity in wave mechanics. So with this introduction, I'll just take you a few minutes of saying that what is knowledge, how it is gained. Even the birds, animals, you have seen on one side, the birds, the spider web, they does extremely intelligent, scientifically oriented activities. How they can do, even animals also they do, that what it is called instinct. Man has got that instinct knowledge. So all the living beings, they have the instinct by birth. The next man has grown, he got the rational mind, he got the logic and reason. And the same mind, when you purify that one, when you take it to higher level, what it is called intuition, pratibha, it comes. On the right side, you see even Newton, how he discovered the gravitational theory. And the apple was falling, all of you know very well. It intuitively triggered him to get out the gravitational theory. Even Einstein, the great man, he says intuition is the best way of acquiring the highest knowledge. And then the man who knew the infinity, you know very well, Srinivasa Ramanujam, he failed. He did not go beyond the school, but he wrote such a wonderful mathematics along with Hardy. And today, even now also, some of his theorems were not able to be solved. He is such a wonderful genius. He is called as the intuitive mathematician. How does this happen? You know, all of us, we have the brain, the left brain and right brain. The left brain is for the instinct, logic, and reason, and the right brain for imagination and intuition. My dear friends, my dear children, our educational system, it has become only left brain activity. But we have to supplement through these sorts of programs, the right side brain activity also. When these two are synthesized, what will happen? Here you see Vivekananda, epitome of excellence of science of internals and externals. The spirituality, what we call, is internally when you go, and when you go outside, that is the external science. So Vivekananda, he had the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. In that Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the mind matches with that of the universal mind, and universal mind gives the information about the whole secrets of the entire universe. And he found the unity, oneness, and the entire cosmos. This oneness is the only one prevailing thing, right from the microcosm to the macrocosm. That was his internal experience. This experience, along with that one, Swami Vivekananda, he had the very good knowledge about the scientific developments of his time. So these two knowledges are there. On one side, the right brain, the intuitive, the spiritual aspect of the thing. The left brain, the logic, reason, these two are harmoniously developed for Swami Vivekananda. In the world, hardly there are very, very few people where their left brain and right brain are balanced. My dear children, when you are doing the imaginative activities, even if somebody asks you to stop it, please don't stop it, because with that imaginative play, imaginative arguments, your right brain will be developed. Now, Swami Vivekananda, what science he has done, he is the man who has inspired Rockefeller. Rockefeller, very rich man, but he inspired him. Through him, the Chicago University has been established, and Rockefeller Foundation also has been established. Many of the intellectual giants, they would like to have the Rockefeller Foundation scholarship. This is in the Western country. What about in India? In India, he happened to meet Jamsetji Tata and inspired him to start Indian Institute of Science. And through that Indian Institute of Science, many scientists, they came from that one. Baba Atomic Research Center was started. From that Baba Atomic Research Center, Indian Space Research Organization started. And today we see India is one of the best in the world, probably on par with the rest of the world in the areas of the atomic energy, with diverse disciplines of applications and space for various applications. So Swami Vivekananda, in one word, if I would like to say, he is the man who has put the seeds for the Indian science growth, that what we see today. And he also showed through Vedanta, the Advaita Vedanta of unity. He laid this foundation for the Western science also. In the Western science, many things have happened, but till today, one of the puzzling problem is they call the very small level, at very micro level of the complementary systems, the matter, how it behaves, nobody knows. Nobody knows that one. That's why in the Schrodinger, he says, the quantum mechanics, for that one, the ways and means some ideas Swami Vivekananda has already laid. So Swami Vivekananda, in that shell, he is a person who laid the seeds for the science of East as well as the West. After saying that one, he did not just keep, at the time when he went to US, he found the Newtonian theory, space, time, energy, and matter are four different separate parameters. He said, no, they are all one. Using this principle of unity, he has contributed significantly in the area of the physics, in the area of the biology, in the area of chemistry, in the area of cosmology, and in the area of the other universal things that what I will come to you. And in the next few minutes, I'll try to explain very briefly what they are. Let us first go to the physics. Physics, all of you know very well, Einstein, theory of relativity. What is theory of relativity? Somebody asked Einstein, can you tell for a layman what is theory of relativity? Somebody was coming in a train and two persons, they were waiting on the platform. One was waiting for his beloved person, the other one was waiting for something else. For one man, every 5 minutes he was looking at the watch, but time was not going. So for that man, even 10 minutes has become 1 hour. For the other man, within no time, the train has come. So the mind, when it goes beyond the space in time, the time becomes short. Or for the other person, the time becomes very large. Or the other example I will tell you, among your friends, one is tall, the other one is short. This is theory of relativity is there. With respect to the short man, the tall man is tall. With respect to the tall man, the short man is the short man. So Swami Vivekananda, he said, in space and time, energy and matter are one and the same. Many people, they could not believe, but after 10 years, Einstein, he framed the equation, what is called E is equal to mc square. Energy is equal to matter times the velocity of the light. It is a very beautiful equation. In a way, I would say, probably Swami Vivekananda contributed to the theory of relativity, which has revolutionized the whole world. Now, on speaking of the theory of uncertainty, this is one more very great science. He says, whatever we do in science, everything is uncertain. So Vivekananda, he told the greatest science in simplest terms. He said, a train is there. How fast it is moving? To measure that one, you need to have an instrument. To calibrate that instrument, one more instrument is required. To calibrate that one, if we keep on going, the mind is the ultimate thing to see. Then the mind is uncertain. So the whole external science is uncertain. He said in 1895, in 1932, Heisenberg, he got Nobel Prize for the theory of uncertainty. My dear children, I'll take you slightly to the biology. All of you know very well the in biology, all of you know very well that we understand, we feel that we are the descendants of the ape. But Swami Vivekananda, he said, we are Amrita Putrasya, we are the children of the God. The Darwin's theory, he has partly accepted, but partly did not accept it. Darwin's theory says evolution, but Swami Vivekananda says evolution followed by involution is also required. And then Darwin, he says, struggle for existence and survival of the fittest, which means which has got a lot of strength. They fight with each other. Which can win, that only is the thing. But Swami Vivekananda, he said, for animal kingdom, it is true. But in the case of the man, it is not true. In the case of the man, it is cooperation and symbiosis. How he was able to tell that one, I told you. He had the Nirvikalpa Samadhi of oneness. If there are two people, they can fight with each other. If there is only one, the entire universe is one. With what it will fight? It is nothing. To keep its oneness, there must be cooperation and symbiosis. Now today, symbiotic biology is a very big branch of the thing. So Swami Vivekananda's contribution to biology is extraordinary, very outstanding. Even Darwin's theory is now slowly being questioned. We don't say he is not wrong, he is wrong, he is right, but he is partially right. Swami Vivekananda, he corrected that one. I'll tell you a simple example to you, my dear children, how Swami Vivekananda used to say big science. Infinity is finite and finite is infinity. When he was telling this lecture, somebody asked, Swamiji, how you can show? Then he said, you please take a piece of paper. All of you children, you can take a piece of paper in your hand. This piece of paper is a small paper, it is called finite size, finite length and width and thickness. Now it is finite. Now Swami Vivekananda wanted to show it as infinite. Then he asked the audience, one of the lady, you tear it into two pieces. After tearing two, you make it four. After make it four, you make it eight. Then he said, you go tonight, you don't sleep till you make them pieces. So many pieces that you get, you make them into half, and to keep on doing the half. When you keep on doing the half, what will happen? Billions and billions of molecules will come. What is it? It is infinity. So with simple example of piece of paper, he showed to the audience, finite is infinite, infinite is finite. So he is such a wonderful person. And in chemistry, we see most of the children, they know very well, there are so many materials are there. But all these materials, they came only from one material, that's what he said, because he believed, he experienced the oneness. What is that one material? Some of the children who know it very well, the periodic table. In the periodic table, there are so many materials, but the first element in the periodic table is hydrogen. This hydrogen in the universe, 95% of the whole universe is filled with hydrogen. This, along with the helium, they mix together and they form the other elements. And with that one, the higher and higher elements have come. So Swami Vivekananda, he said, out of one element, the rest of the elements they have come has perfectly proven. For this one also Nobel Prize is there. My dear children, if I keep on telling, there are so many things are there that what Swami Vivekananda has told. You may ask, where are the books that what Swami Vivekananda has written? Is there any specific book? In the 8 volumes of Swami Vivekananda, if you read here and there, here and there, here and there, when he talks in the West, he has embedded the science into Vedanta and Vedanta into the science. So his contributions to the science are extraordinary. As far as the controversial thing is concerned, whether the whole universe is, the Western science, they say it is evolution. And the religious people, they say it is created by God. So Vivekananda said, neither it is evolution, nor it is creation, it is manifestation. So this has had to be proven. There are so many things that what Swami Vivekananda has said, and those things are being they are being studied. I'll tell you one simple example. An iron rod is there. It is in dark room. You will not be able to see that one. Suppose you hit that one. slowly it will become red in color. Still you heat further, it will become white in color. Still you heat further with more temperature, it slowly evaporates. And still you put the more power for that one, what happens? The whole thing gets vaporized, you will not see. Just like the ice, when it is heated, it becomes water. When it is heated, it becomes vapor, it merges. And this is lot of science, you say. And then he talked quite a lot about the universe, how it has come prana and spandana. The spandana means the vibration. The prana, along with consciousness and all, the spandana is also there. Then the various objects are, these are all the concepts Swami Vivekananda has thrown. I am so happy to tell you, my dear children, I am so happy to tell you, probably Swami Nityayogananda Maharaj, you may be knowing, all of you, by whom you are inspired, he has taken up this aspect of the thing, and he has introduced the concept of the vibration along with the space, time, energy, matter, and other parameters also. This theory he has published in various journals, which are very, very prestigious, and probably we have to wait. You see, Swami Vivekananda has said one thing: whenever some new thing has come out, always there will be opposition. And after opposition, there will be criticism. After criticization, slowly, they will accept it. They will accept it. Same is the case with Nityayogananda Maharaj. He has brought the concept of the vibration that has to be brought into the science of the physics, and probably there may be from the scientific community little bit of skepticism of saying that whether it can be accepted or not. But I am 100% sure over a period of time, it will be accepted. It will make a big revolution. This is one example of what I was saying about what Swami Vivekananda's concepts are being pursued, scientific concepts are being pursued, and then being turned to a big science, international science. Salutations to Swami Nityayogananda Maharaj for opening up of the doors. Similarly, there are some people now on various aspects of what Swami Vivekananda has said about the science. So, my dear young children, to summarize to you, I will tell you, our mind is, Indian mind, is a very great mind, very great mind. If your grandfather is intelligent, your father will be intelligent. If your father is intelligent, you are intelligent. How it comes? It is by hereditary, Vamsa Parampara, that's what we say. Similarly, 5,000 years back, when no man has discovered anything, our Indian mind, they discovered so many great things, Forget about the Upanishads, Vedanta and all. Some people may not, but science also they have done. How they have done that one is that, for that one, the only one secret, Swami Vivekananda has said, mind is the most important thing. Whether you study science or whether you study or you follow the spirituality, mind is the most important thing. This mind is like a monkey. This monkey, it is bitten with a scorpio, and the scorpio-bitten monkey has drunk something. Then how it will behave? It will keep on wandering like anything. Such is the case of the mind with every one of us, including me also. My mind is not with me always. It scatters. If we can concentrate that one, just like the sun radiation is there, if you put a small lens that gets focused, when that focuses light, when you put a paper, the paper burns. Normally, paper under sunlight, it will not burn, but under the focused light, it will burn. What it means is that your thoughts, or concentrated, or your mind, either through the elimination of the thoughts or control of the thoughts. Swami Vivekananda, he says, either you control internally or externally, whatsoever it is. But if you do the concentration, the whole thing on a particular object with a focused mind, you concentrate, that object reveals its a secret. It's a secret. In Surya Siddhanta, it has been said in Patanjali Yoga Sutras 3.6 or something, if you see that what it says is that a man with purity and the concentration of the mind, high purity of the mind and high concentration, when he focuses on any particular object, the object reveals its secrets. So that is how Swami Vivekananda was able to travel internally and found the whole universe is one. And he traveled with the same concentration externally. He applied the theory of oneness to the externals and found theory of relativity, theory of unity, theory of the evolution, and the material science, and the creation, etc. So many other things have happened. So, my dear children, what from Swami Vivekananda science we can learn is that it is first thing, not only from your educational system of left brain training, with your imagination, creativity, you have to train your right brain also. The right brain activity, education is not given by the so-called Macaulay education. You have to change that one. You have to, in our ancient days, we used to have Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Listen carefully and contemplate on that one carefully, and then meditate on that one. The secrets will come out. Now, synthesizing the Eastern way of science and Western way of science, we can combine the next generation. Swami Vivekananda says India is going to take the flag bearer for the rest of the whole world. Why? Indians, they have the spiritual knowledge background and they are acquiring the scientific knowledge also on par with the Western world. But for the West to get the spiritual knowledge of this depth, it may take time. So India is going to be the flag bearer, and Swami Vivekananda's vision is going to be a true vision. My dear children, you are all the people who are the flag bearers. You are the people. You synthesize science and spirituality. Swami Vivekananda has synthesized East and West. He bridged the old and the young people. He wanted the youth on one side. He wanted to have the elders' wisdom also. So he is always polarities, two opposite polarities he synthesized. So with this, my dear children, I tell Swami Vivekananda, unique personality. There are many, many great intellectuals are there, and Swami Vivekananda has got the mind of the Shankara and the heart of the Buddha, and then the scientific knowledge of Einstein. You see three great people when they are combined together, how it will be. That is what Swami Vivekananda, you have taken the name of the Swami Vivekananda and you are running your the study circle classes, I am sure, out of you. Swami Vivekananda says, yes, my hope is on the youth. My hope is on the youth. Hope is on Piyal and the volunteers and all the young children and all the seniors also, various external professors, professionals sitting in front of me. You are all the people who can drive this country to a forefront in the entire world. With this one, I say, thank you very much, my dear children. I will take up now the question and answer session. Is it all right, Piyalji?
Sir, namaste, sir. Sir, if you want break, we can play the institute video. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
No
Okay,
break
sir.
is there. No
Okay,
break
sir.
is there. No
Please,
break
sir,
is
carry
there.
on, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. See, I'll take one after the other questions, one after the other, as much as possible. I'll try to cover that one. And I'll try to cover those questions. The first question is, how many asteroids are there in space? More than 100, larger than 100 meters in diameter or size, there are nearly 150 million asteroids are there. If you take very smaller one, there are billions of asteroids. That is the first question to answer. What is galaxy? The galaxy, the system of millions and billions of stars put together, along with the gas, dust, hold together by, they are all held by gravity. That is what is galaxy. This is the second question for which the answer is that. The third one is, what is black hole? Black hole, all of you know very well. I don't need to say. The black hole is that normally when sunlight falls, it reflects. But in a white body is there, a black paper is there. Sunlight falls, white, it reflects. Black, what it does? It absorbs. It doesn't reflect back. Similarly, in the universe, 95% of the material or universe is dark energy, unknown energy, unknown matter. In that one, the black holes are also there. But these black holes we could not study because even the light also cannot go inside. No thief can go inside. Even the light, small particle which can travel the fastest in the world, in the universe, even that one also cannot go into the black hole. That is what is black hole. Probably you children are the right people how to study these black holes. How to study these black holes. So this is the answer. These three questions, I think the small children they ask. I congratulate these young children with a way of studying the 4th, 5th, and 6th standard, but having a very deep questions they are asking. I am sure they are our future Nobel laureates. I congratulate you, my dear children. Now I will go to the question is related to Devajyoti Maharaj, his work in Pramana. I already told about this one. I don't think I have to repeat once again, except by thanking and congratulating and offering pranams to Devajyoti Maharaj for taking the science further and further on the concepts of Vedanta and Swami Vivekananda. Next question, Vaishnav, can we please explain what is electro-optical technology? Optics is nothing but telescopes, microscopes, pure optics. And then electronics, you know, the radios and all the other things. Now, in a camera, you know you are getting the digital cameras. How this digital camera, optics is there in front. At the back, there is electro-optical device. When light falls that one, it converts into electrical signal. So wherever the phenomena of combination of light and electricity combined together is there, electro-optics is there. And optoelectronics also is there. Don't mistake these two. Those who want to do interestly science of electro-optics and optoelectronics, probably you can study. The next question is Badosa Sikadar. Why developed country like America launches most of the rockets from Sriharikota rocket launching station? All of you clap the hands. Indians are great. I said, you are all having the Indian mind. The Indian mind is so brilliant, and that Indian mind is percolating in you also. And in your Indian mind optimizes at low cost and low space, low volume of launching of the satellites. Very precisely, very precisely. If you launch the satellite into the right orbit, instead of 5 years, it may work for 10 years. It is a lot of money for Western people. If the Western people, they can put the satellite into the orbit with 95% accuracy, Indians were able to put with 99.5% accuracy. That is the reason why, and the cost is almost 1/2 or 1/4 of the cost. At low cost, high accuracy, high dependability is coming. That's why you are all the pioneers. You have to become, you have to do much more significant things, not only in this space, but in the other areas also. And the next question is ABVS. John, I heard first satellite Apple was carried on bullock cart, etc., etc. He knows the question. Or you are part of the satellite launching? Share your experience. Yes, I was a part of that one. At that time, we don't have the facilities. So we have put the satellite on a bullock cart and taken on the road for doing some of the experiments. When French people, they came, they wondered, seeing the results, saying, have you done the experiment? We said, yes, we have done. Can you show your experiments? We said, no, we will not show. Why? When we come to France, you will not show. So why should we show? Actually, there is an aim. It is not that we don't want to show, because our experiments are on bullock cart. They may laugh at us. But that bullock cart experiments, when once they are known, they said, Indians are hats off. Great people they are. We bow down to them. That's what they said. That is the greatness of the bullock cart. Sir, we heard about Professor Satish Dhawan from Abdul Kalam Lord. Do you work with him? Can you share your working experience with him? Yes, Satish Dhawan, he is a very fatherly figure. He is extraordinarily intelligent. He did his MA Literature English, and then he did typos, and in Caltech, he did his engineering. At very young age of 40, he became the director of the Indian Institute of Science. And then after some time, when the vacancy of Department of Space has come as chairman, he took over the chairman also. But he said with one condition, the condition, I will take only 1 rupee from the government as salary. You see, he's such a brilliant man. And if he would have stayed in the Western country, probably he would have become billionaire. But he gave up all those things, like that Sarabhai also, he gave up all the things and they returned. They came to India. Why they came? Swadesi Abhimana. You have to have love for your country. So Vivekananda says, love your country. You have this love for your country, and automatically you dedicate yourself. When you are running the small children, educating that one, what you get out of that? Nothing. But why do you do that? That to build India. Hats off to you all. You are also Satish Dhawan. You are also Vikram Sarabhai of a different nature. So this Satish Dhawan, he used to inspire. I will tell one simple example. First experiment, the satellite was launched. It was a failure. And then Kalam, he was the project director. The press people, when they came, Satish Dhawan, he asked Kalam to go home. And he faced the people and they said, yes, we failed, but our confidence is so high. Next year, we will come with success. Next year, exactly, this rocket was launched. At that time, they were looking for Satish Dhawan, but Satish Dhawan is not seen anywhere. He went away from the back door and asked Abdul Kalam to face the audience. Then he said, yes, today's experiment is very successful. What it means, he said, the great people, when the failures are there, they take on their shoulders. When success is there, they give it to the others. My dear children, we have to learn. There is a lot of lessons I learned in that one. Yes, when there is a success, it is the success of the others. When there is a failure, it is a failure of mine. And Swami Vivekananda, you remember when he went abroad, he told one thing, if I have done something great thing, it is not mine, my Guru's, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. But if I have said something wrong, that is mine. So always fault is mine, the success is others. That is Satish Dhawan. My experience I have seen with it is, if I think of that one, probably you will see me crying because I worked with him. Working with him, emotional feelings are there. The emotional feelings of how he used to put hand on the shoulder, the very hand, it inspires you. It makes you to work day and night, and it makes you to commit. Always he used to say, don't ask what I get from the organization. You always ask what you can give for the organization. It is not that what this country is giving for me, what I can give to the country. You please ask. This is Satish Dhawan. This is Vikram Sarabhai. This is how our experiences are with them. Today we are standing in front of you, not of our intelligence, not of our anything. We are groomed. We are brought up in their hands, in their shoulders. We are the children of those great people. Swami Vivekananda on one side, spiritual side, Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother on spiritual side, but on the scientific side also, there are great parents are there for us. They have brought up us. Today what we are is mix of these two. Then the question is, what is the difference between physical science and spirituality? Man, if you see, he is inside, his mind is there. He has got thoughts, he has got emotions, he has got feelings. And when he sees outside, he sees the whole universe. When you try to investigate outside, that is physics, that is physical sciences. But when you try to turn inside and see who is running this body, who is giving this thoughts, who is giving this intellect, who is tolerating me, who is making me to move, to understand that person, the one supreme that is residing inside, which is the key for all of us, that is spirituality. When you go inside, it is spirituality. When you go outside, it is physical science. Are you two different? Inside is one and outside is one. These two are important. So science and spirituality are both one and the same. What book should we read to become scientists in ISRO? My dear children, I'll tell you one thing. I got time up to 5:25, so a lot of time is there. There is no problem. How to become a scientist in ISRO? I'll tell you here a couple of things, my dear children. Colors you have seen, rainbow. Rainbow, all of you have seen. You enjoy, 7 colors are there. Where from they come? From the white light. When they disperse, it becomes 7 colors, rainbow. Now, there are called fundamental colors, red, green, and blue. These 3 colors are called fundamental colors. If you mix any one of these things in different proportions, different colors will come. Different colors will come. You may ask, can we apply this one to the spirituality also? Yes, we the human beings. Why our human beings are different in different ways? Why all are not same? We got Tamo, Rajo, Sattvic, 3 gunas are there. These 3 gunas, Tamo guna, sleep. Rajo guna, yes, I will do 5. And Sattvic guna, yes, I will see the highest. These 3 gunas, in permutations and combinations, when they come, they become different people, billions of people. 2 digits, 0 and 1, is becoming the digital technology today. Now you have the 3 parameters. When you combine them in different proportions, combinations of 0.00001 difference, that man will be different. So what happens is that why I am saying is that what books I have to read to join ISRO? You read your fundamentals of physics, chemistry, and mathematics. If these 3 subjects you study the biology. You can do anything. When you combine them, when you grow, yes, you can do. In your human body, all this physics is there, chemistry is there, biology is there, engineering is there, computer science is there, everything is there in the human body. How? By combination of these things. If you are very good at fundamentals, RGB, red, green, blue, or fundamentals, you can create any color. Similarly, if your fundamentals are good, you can do anything, not in ISRO, even the NASA also you can go. Not to the NASA, even to the Mars also you can go. What is the position of image of ISRO in the world? My dear children, probably one of you can say, after listening to me saying that ISRO launched these satellites, ISRO has done this one and all. What is your image about ISRO? What do you think about ISRO? Earlier, Western people or the other countries, they laughed at India. What these people, dark people, doesn't have any facilities, doesn't have brains, what they can do. Oh, they are doing the space science and rockets. Now today, they say they are doing the wonderful things of launching 100 satellites in one rocket and launching only one satellite to the moon and discovering the water on the moon, which is 60 satellites for 40 years continuously. What they did, they could not. Indians, they did with one satellite, one launch to the moon, they found water on the moon. And going to the Mars is not so easy. First attempt, precisely, Indians they went. Now, what is the image? Shall I answer this one? It is your imagination, my dear children. Discuss this one along you. Whether India is, what is the image of that one? Probably they cannot imagine what you people are going to do in future for this India. That is the glory of India. Now, Pota Damodar. Nowadays, everything they say in Vedas, Upanishads are providing. Why should we go back the traditional educational system in studying the Vedas? Yes. See, Swami Vivekananda, he says, don't look back. It doesn't mean, he does not say, forget about the Vedas. He said, learn from the past. What you learn from the past? From the Vedas and Vedanta and all the other things. The essence of the thing you learn the greatness of that one, the great secrets of that one, of knowing that one, then go forward. Go forward what? Tomorrow you are going to have the artificial intelligence. And not only the artificial intelligence, probably reproducible robotics are also going to come. Are we going to produce artificial life? We don't know. So, my dear children, take the lessons from the past, take the best of the past, live in the present, and go in the future with a confidence. Yes, I can do, I will do. That is the life. So that is why we should not only just sit on Vedas. It is not that my grandfathers, they have taken ghee daily. Look for that one. Please smell my mouth. Is it possible? My grandfathers have taken the ghee, but mouth may have something. But for you to have the joy of the ghee, you have to drink. With what? Saying that by drinking ghee, I will become vigorous, energetic. So take good from the past. Don't sit on that one. Take the best and then put it into the practice now. For what? For a better future. Then the next question, sir, I should choose the books I should prefer to study astronomy. I told already for one question saying that your fundamentals must be good. Now for astronomy, the more important thing is not the biology and chemistry. Of course, Astrobiology, if you want to do biology, is also required. I don't say that one. But for the astronomy, more of mathematics, imagination, and then the physics. These two subjects you combine, you study very well. Along with that one, if time is there, combine the chemistry and biology also. Astrobiology, astrochemistry, all the rocks, composition. For that one, chemistry is required. And physics, how the planets are moving, how stars are forming, how black holes are behaving, physics is required. And how the orbits are going and when what will happen, mathematics is required. So my dear child, you combine your mathematics, physics, biology, and chemistry. All the four. You be thorough. How thorough? When you close your eyes on page number 15, that sentence must appear in front of you. That should be the concentration. That should be the type of the study that what you have to do. Not mug up and tell something in the examination. Of seeing of the thing, grasping of the thing, and registering in the mind. Not just like today's computers have download and upload. For any question, you download. For anything answer, I'll go to the computer and find the answer. No. When you see the subjects when you study, when you close the book, and if you imagine on so and so page, guess just like that it has to come. That is the way of study, the concentration. Now, the question is a little bit big question. Ramakrishna Viswas. Respected sir, I am currently pursuing BS/MS program with mathematics major in ISER, Thiruvananthapuram. I am much interested to work in ISRO. I would like to kindly feel me how much what plan to for suitable PhD for possibilities so that I can go to the desired direction to join ISRO. My dear child, I will tell you one thing. ISRO is very glamorous, no doubt about that one. But ISRO alone is not the thing. Anything, everything that whatever you do, that becomes the great. It is not that by doing so and so thing you will become great, but what you make a thing that should become great. So if you do your BS/MS oriented towards aeronautical engineering. If you do in chemistry, you can do propellants. If you do in electronics, you can do the computer science and all the things. Or if you do in mechanical, you can do in mechanical engineering structures of the satellite and all. If you do pure mathematics, PhD, you can become aerodynamics person. So anything that you do, please do with perfection. Please do with perfection. Please do with full understanding. When you apply that one, not ISRO, everyone will be after you. You don't need to run after for the job. The jobs will run after you. My dear child, I wish you all the best. You are doing the PhD. I am very, very happy for that. The next question, Anevi Dhananjaya Rao. Does spirituality and science meet? Does spirituality and science meet? I told one example just now. When you go inside, your spirituality is there. When you go outside, the physical science is there. Are we not meeting having a body? Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya koshas are there. If you apply your things for the physical body and Annamaya and Pranamaya kosha, yes, external world. If we go to the Manomaya, Vijnanamaya kosha, spirituality. So in you, both the science and spirituality are there. It is up to you which direction you would like to go. Don't mean to say by studying alone you will become a scientist, by studying, doing alone you will become a spiritual person. I will tell you some examples later on. Little bit time is there. If time is there, I will tell, but let me first complete the question. So between science and spirituality, a thin line is there between the two. A thin line is there. where the microsystems and macrosystems, they become what is thin and what is thick. At what point you put this is thin and this is thick. Always there are very, very narrow line, very narrow line. So science and spirituality also are like that. There are two sides of the same coin, I would say. Two sides of the same coin. If you toss this side, head comes. If you toss this side, tail comes. So science will become spirituality. Spirituality will give science. Swami Vivekananda, he synthesized both science and spirituality. Einstein, he was a scientist, but often he was spiritual too. No doubt about that one. And true scientists and true spiritual people, they don't differentiate between science and spirituality. I tell you one thing, both science, it is search for the truth. What is there outside in the universe? And spirituality, what is there inside? Search for the truth. So both science and spirituality, they are searching for the truth. If they are searching for the truth, are they two different things? They are two methods of finding the truth. And the truth may be safe, or the truth may be slightly relative, or whatever it is. That's why Sri Ramakrishna has said, the rivers, how crooked they go, this side, that side, that side, that side, ultimately will go into the ocean. And once they go into the ocean water will, they taste only salt. The rivers, they may be very sweet on the way, they may be crooked, but when they go into the ocean, they all become salt. So also, the science and spirituality, when you are seeking of the truth, ultimately when you know the truth, what will happen? You will become silent. The man who knows everything, he becomes silent. He cannot express what is the truth. Can you express the truth, absolute truth? It is impossible. How you can do? By living the truth. You can show to the humanity that you are spiritual, that you are scientific, but not by telling the words. So, my dear friend, that is the thing. Snehita, sir, as a science student and while preparing for the competitive examination, do you face a lot of demotivation? How to overcome that, sir, and stay motivated? You see, it is the question of the science, my dear child. In any subject, if in anything, the demotivation will be there. I'll tell you one example. One person, he is working as a director. His son, he got admission into the IIT. And the father, he wants him to study the engineering, because after doing the engineering, if you go to the software course per year, the jobs will come. But the boy, he said, I want to do the physics. And there was tug of war between the two. And they came to me. And I said to the father, I'll just speak to the child. You come later, we'll just talk. I spoke to the child. Then I told to the child, I will fight for you with your father that you will study science. Finally, he joined in Kanpur IIT in physics. And after doing that one, still father was wondering, all the other children, they are getting 1 crore jobs, 2 crore jobs. My son is still doing physics only, 5th year of integrated. Now, slowly, this boy, after IIT Kanpur, he went abroad in Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He did PhD. Today, he is one of the very, very well-established scientists. His name and reputation is enormous. The other day, just a few months back, father and mother, both, they came to the house. Murthy, I did not understand on the day when you are telling my son has to study science, but today I understand. Yes, this is the truth. Now, for becoming of some of these things, here the question is the confidence. The confidence. Don't lose the confidence, whether it is doing of the public service examinations or science or something. Demotivation will be there. From where? Sometimes from parents, sometimes from friends, sometimes from some other people. in different directions it will come, but don't care. Listen, what you do, close the door. Listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. Talk to yourself what you want to become. Steve Jobs, what he said, I listened to me and then I invented the Apple. Similarly, great people, they listen to themselves rather than listen to the others. And when they listen to themselves, they can make the others to listen to them. So that is the secret, my dear child. Don't have this feeling of somebody is not supporting. You don't need to have patting. Patting, you do this one, only certain distance you will go. Beyond that one, you cannot go. But if you go on your own, you will face the problem. But you will. I'll tell one example over here. In a temple, statue is there, the deity, and the floor also is there in the temple. One day the floor says to the deity, hey, both of us are stones only, but you are worshipped and on me people are walking. What is this fate? I am under the feet of the people and you are being worshipped by that one. Then the deity, he says, yes, true, both of us are stones only, but you are nicely polished and made as a floor. But to make a deity, they chiseled me, they beat me, they chipped off me, they gave me so many beatings on my head, so many beatings on my shoulder, so many things they have done. Finally, they made me the deity. So if I have borne all the difficulties, if I bear all the difficulties, this body will become the strength. The deity himself is saying, after getting beatings, I became a god. So you also, you face the problems. Unless you face the problem, what Swami Vivekananda says, nerves of steel, muscles of iron and nerves of steel. That's what you need to have. For that one, face it. Face the brood, the story. The next question is, Shyam Sundar Bhadanha, how to control anger. It's a, see, once mother took a child to Mahatma Gandhi to say something. Gandhi, he was saying, you please come tomorrow, bring your child. Next day, he brought the child. Then he said, don't eat sweets. That the mother, she asked, Gandhiji, yesterday, why you didn't tell the same thing? See, yesterday I was eating the sweets. So while I am eating sweets, if I tell to the child not to eat the sweets, will he listen? He will not. See the anger, how to control. You may ask, the right question is, did you control your anger? This kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsaryas, harishat vargas, if we can control, that is the man. That is the man. Our whole struggle is to circumvent, to become something of controlling. However you control, there will be some element of anger will be there. Not for each and everything one get angry, but for micro things initially, big ripples will be there. Later, small things will come. Then you sit down one day, when you got angry, you ask yourself, why did I get angry? What is the reason? If you analyze, introspection, if you make, slowly over a period of time, you realize most of the problem is lying with you. So if you correct yourself, your anger will go. Like this, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsaryas, all the things that are the obstacles for our spiritual life, yes, they have to be gone. That's what we have to do. Next question is, Somana Chakravarti, please explain if the Brahman is one and how come so many souls here on earth? See, Brahman is one. You are saying Swami Vivekananda experienced oneness. How come so many deities are there and so how many people are there? His question he is asking Swami Vivekananda, not me. He is asking Swami Vivekananda. Now you see Swami Vivekananda gives a beautiful example. Sun is one, but at the surface, on the ground, suppose you have tiny number of mirrors are there. How many suns you will see? In each and every mirror you will see the sun. Millions of mirrors you will see. But the actual sun is only one. The reflections are millions are there. Millions are there. The Supreme Brahman is one. And the same Brahman is also there within you. The same Brahman is there also within me. So the entire Brahman, all these put together, everything is Brahman only. That is unity in diversity, diversity in unity. So there is nothing as fragmented or any other thing. The same thing is appearing like that. The same thing is appearing like that. Nothing else. If you want to do the experiment, taking some 10 mirrors put under the sun, where you will see 10 suns are not there. Then will you say whether 10 suns are or only one sun is there? You know there is only one sun. Same thing apply for the Brahman also. Next question is the interrelation between worship of God and science. You see, both are seeking the truth. Which one is great? Seeing from front or from the back? Both are same. Both are same. In Ramakrishna Math, Mahan Maharaj is there. He did PhD from Caltech. He came back. He got Bhatnagar Award. He got Ajay Prem, that Infosys Award, the great awards. And then he was doing, somebody asked, Maharaj, you are a spiritual person. How you are doing the mathematics over here? Then he said, for me, science is religion. Through this religion also, I can go to Sri Ramakrishna. So in science and religion, there is no difference whatsoever it is. The interrelation between God and science. Science is God, God is science. Science is God, God is science. Where is the difference? No difference at all. Then, Saksha Sinha, how to find my passion? Oh, you are asking a big question. A few more questions are there. I have to go a little bit fast. The best way is that you close your eyes, what thoughts are coming to you? You observe, note down. After 10 days, close your eyes and see what thoughts are coming. Where your passion is there, your thoughts will be there. Pick up those thoughts and that is your passion. A thief will always think of how to steal. A scientist always thinks of how to do science. So our thoughts are nothing but our passion. Set your thoughts will lead to where your passion is. Which subject favorite, sir, which subject your favorite subjects are? My favorite subject is my children, the young children in front of me. All the science that what I did is of no experience for me, whatever the other things I have done. But I see the small children and talking to them, I feel I am also young. I love. So my favorite subject is meeting of the children, talking to them and learning from them. I'll tell you if time is there, how I am learning from the children also. So my favorite is that. And then Madhavi Sri, how Swami Vivekananda inspired T.G.K. Murthy. How did you get inspired by Swami Vivekananda? I come from a village. I was almost about to fail by SSLC. From that stage, you heard the biodata. As S1, he has read that one. How it happened. When I was under depression, I happened to read Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda, he said, have self-confidence, self-faith, faith in yourself. With faith in yourself, we can do anything and everything. That has gone deeply into my mind. When I went abroad, the book of Call to the Nation has fallen into my hands. And afterwards, I read Swami Vivekananda's lectures from Colombo to Almora. My dear children, if you have read, it is all right. If not, please read. Then automatically you will give up everything and you start doing of what you want. Swami Vivekananda, his words are such, if they are uttered to a dead man, the dead man will get up and start walking. That is the power of the Swami Vivekananda's words. So Swami Vivekananda's words, how it will inspire which person in what way, very difficult for me. Self-confidence, self-faith, and the book I told you, all lectures from Colombo to Almora, and that is the thing. So you please, for you it need not be exactly the same thing. For you some other thing, but you read Swami Vivekananda. And then what is the relation between Swami Vivekananda and social philosophy? Rahul Banerjee, probably he is going to become the sociologist. See, Swami Vivekananda, he is a communist for communists. He is a woman inspirer. For every person they see Swami Vivekananda, he is talking for them only. The social harmony, the upliftment, the common man, the downtrodden man, the poor man, the ugly man. What Swami Vivekananda he says, everything, all those are my brothers. That is the social philosophy. Social philosophy of oneness, seeing the oneness in everyone, whether he is a destitute, whether he is a king, or whether he is a queen or any other thing, it doesn't make any difference at all. I am coming very close to the time, 27, 20 years. What is the relation between Swami Vivekananda and social philosophy? And there is one more question. Here are we, Vartaman Samay. It is in Hindi, I can't read. I am sorry, this question I will not be able to tell. If somebody asks one, he says, I may be able to tell later. Next question. Sumit Lala Prakash. Why Indian people still believe in astronomy? Why astronomy is a beautiful subject. Probably they are talking about astrology. He got confused between astrology and astronomy. Astronomy is about Khagoda Shastra, how the planets, how the whole universe has formed and all the other things. And astrology is predicting of your future. Swami Vivekananda says, if you want to go for instead of going to an astrologist, go to a doctor. If you make your muscles, nerves very strong, then you don't need all this astrology. But here this boy, whether he is asking astronomy or astrology, I don't know. How do people believe in astronomy? Because astronomy, our Aryabhatta, Bhaskara, Leelavati, they are all the great people who contributed for the astronomy. And the whole world is looking towards the astronomy, Indian astronomy. So we should love the astronomy. But astrology, I don't know. But I go by Swami Vivekananda. Don't go for the false things of astrology, predictions, and become a prey for that one. Next question is there any link between understanding of the universe in Vedas and modern science? Yes, there is a lot of link. As Heisenberg he has said, it has opened my quantum mechanics the way. Similarly, Penrose, who got a Nobel Prize 2 years back, he also said, I am very much inspired with the Eastern philosophy. There is a lot of commonality between these modern science with that of the ancient science as far as the universe is concerned. Probably you read a little bit, my dear child, this will be a much better thing. Which book should I read to know Swamiji's scientific thought? You read complete volumes of Swami Vivekananda, 8 volumes. His science is spread here and there, everywhere in sentences. It is there spread all over. So you please read Swami Vivekananda's 8 volumes. Specifically, if you want to read for a small pill, read Swami Vivekananda, Intuitive Scientist. That is small book. I am patting myself. I am promoting my book. It doesn't mean like that. Here, at least some words are given. Taking that, you read the complete 8 volumes. Trupti Kumbha, what is truth? Is spirituality is a way to seek it? What is the significance of birth and death? Truth can alone know the truth. Can you see your eyes? Your own eyes? Without a mirror, without somebody, you can't see your eyes. Same is the thing. Truth alone knows the truth. And what is this life and death? And physically, if you are seeing, the body dies. But in that dead body, billions and billions of microbes will be there. Life is there. Is it dead or alive? I don't know. But if we go to Vedanta, it says changing of the body is nothing but changing of a shirt. There is no life and death. So both from the science as well as the spirituality, between life and death, I don't see any differences there. Life is death, death is life. What is the difference between day and night? Sun, he gone that side and he will come back next day again. What is the difference? That's all. That is the difference. Aninja Basu, can modern science really hold the hand of religion and walk together? You please tell me whether Swami Vivekananda walked or not, whether Heisenberg has walked or not, or somebody else. There are the true scientists and true spiritual people, they walked hand in hand. Swami Ranganathanji Maharaj, he was the president of the Ramakrishna Order. He used to speak lot of science. Actually, for me, the inspiration, he was the person. He asked me, Murthy, you are a scientific person, why don't you think of something or spiritual side also from the science? That is how it has come. So these two things go together. The last question, how philosophy of Vivekananda can be included into the present generation, youth power promoted by Vivekananda, and why there are so many departures are there. My dear children, now I came to the last question. My time is under 3 minutes are there, but all the questions are over. How Swami Vivekananda think they over? You see, either Piyal or SN or the other volunteers, what they are doing is nothing but translating of the words of Swami Vivekananda into actual action. Swami Vivekananda's words, they are translating into the actions. This is how, if all of you learn the things and go, yes, it is a great thing. I shared with you the humanism. One simple example, because 2 minutes are there, that's when 2 minutes are there, because all the questions are over.
Yes.
Once I went to Bapatla Ramakrishna Seva Samiti, all street children were there, small children, and Swamiji, while giving some of the things, gifts to them, he asked me suddenly to speak to the children. I was wondering what I can speak about the science, what about the rockets. Then I thought, I closed my eyes and I asked each child, when you are putting the pranams to the Swamiji, what you are thinking in your mind. After a lot of persuasion, one child, I want good education. Then afterwards, one more child said, I want good education. My parents also should have a good life. And after some time, some other child said, we don't have house, we need to have a good house. After some time, somebody said, like this, they were saying, good food, good education, good house to live, good way of life, thinking and all. This is the experience. With this one, I went to IIT, one of the IIT, I don't want to say the name of the IIT. I went, evening was the lecture. Morning, I was normally, my love, passion, somebody asked me the question, what you love? I love children. So I went to meet the youngsters in the Gymkhana. In Gymkhana, I was asking, my dear young friends, what is your goal of life? Why you are asking? No, I am just asking you, please tell. Of course, we are in IIT, from here we go abroad. Going there, what you will do? PhD. After PhD, what you will do? We will get a good job. After getting good job, what you will do? We will get lot of money. If we get lot of money, what you will do? We will have a lot of luxuries and all the other things. Afterwards, what you will have? What question you are asking? Then I went to the other IIT and I said, a street child, they said, we want education, we want food, we want this one and happy in life. And IIT candidate also, he also want to have exactly the same thing. But on this IIT man, India has spent 1.5 crore. So the education of spending 1.5 crore has brought the same ideas of what small child is telling with that of the IIT child. Is there a difference? There is no difference. When I was feeling like this, the other side of the coin, humanism, I will tell you. At that time, I had a little bit of back pain. They said they could not provide the vehicle because the auditorium is very close by. And the 2 minutes, I am slipping at 27 the time, so I am closing. When I was sitting, I just wanted to sit on the pavement. They asked, why you are sitting? I am just enjoying the nature. In the meantime, a rickshaw has come, rickshaw puller. I said, I will drive in the rickshaw. I love of going in the rickshaw. They took me to the auditorium, which is hardly a few yards away. I got down. I took 20 rupees and wanted to give to the rickshaw man. That man, he said something in Hindi, which I could not understand. Then I thought probably he is expecting. I took 50 rupees and gave. Then he said something. Still, I could not understand. I took 100 rupees. Still, I could not understand. Then the neighbor, the student, he said, sir, he says he doesn't want to take money. We know this auditorium, people, they talk about Swami Vivekananda. To talk that one, great people, they come. When they are doing such a great service, for them cannot, I do this small service of carrying you free of cost. This is my contribution. Then I said, I fell flat. Here is the man who has got the humanism. So, my dear children, all your activities of Ramakrishna Vivekananda, Sarada Mata thing, may they bless all of you, the volunteers, and take these young children, shape their children, shape yourself, take this country, glorious country, bring name, fame for yourself, bring name, fame for your parents, to your families, to your state, to your country, to the humanity. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. Many participants actually during your lecture, they have asked questions, sir. All the questions of the participants will be sent to mail, and if you have any questions, we will display later mail. You can send the questions to that mail. As already question and answer session, we have taken the questions to the registration form. So please give your questions to that mail. We will send those questions to sir. Now, Piali sister, Piali sister will. Piali sister, please unmute your mic.
Yeah. Now, from my side, there are no questions. If any other questions are coming, I don't mind at all. Even if it is midnight, if I don't know, I just sit down at work and try to send the answer. If I don't know from the answer, I'll consult some of my friends and get the answer and send. I am with you. I am at your disposal. Absolutely no problem.
Thank you, sir. Today we had a wonderful lecture from Dr. T.G.K. Murthy, sir. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for your great explanation of all scientific principles like Einstein's theory of relativity, uncertainty principle of Heisenberg through Swami Vivekananda, and also answering all the questions of participants in simple way with great care and attention. You have changed our perspective about what we hitherto have thought. Many of us usually prone to think that scientific thoughts and discoveries were born only out of Western brains and nurtured only in the West. But you are making every effort to take the Indian science globally. You gave a precise and clear insight into the profundity of Swami Vivekananda's thoughts, which go perfectly in harmony with modern scientific thoughts. These two apparently diverse thoughts are not contrary but complementary to each other. Today, you give youngsters a direction towards Swami Vivekananda with the language of science. We got highly motivated with your thoughts and ideas. With your amiable presence, we also felt the grace and will of ancient sages of this land who excelled in science by manifesting their infinite nature is working through you. We are so proud to have an outstanding scientist like you who is working steadily and silently as the gentle dew that falls in the morning, unseen and unheard, yet producing a tremendous result. We express our sincere gratitude to you from the core of our heart for giving your valuable time and addressing the youth in spite of your busy schedule. Uh, hope we all have your hope we all have your precious presence again and again. Thank you very much, sir. And sir, I will request you to spare some few more times. We want to share a small video clip of our organization. Please, sir, spare some few more times. Sir, please. Yashwant brother, please play
Yes,
the
sister,
video.
I'm saying, okay.
Thank you very much. My love to the young children, my love to the young children. Young children, they are the gods and goddesses. They are the gods and goddesses. What else I can say? Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. A small video for the organization we are sharing, sir.
Mhm. Please, please.
Jai Ramakrishna, Namaste. Ramakrishna Vivekananda Vedanta Bhavadara Satsanga, a spiritual organization situated at Palta, North 24 Parganas, West Bengal. This organization is run by a group of like-minded devotees residing in West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh. Keeping spirituality at its center, this small but resolute group of 7 active members, the dedicated followers of Holy Trio, strive to ensure that all their activities revolve around the core principles of the teachings of Holy Trio, which is also our nation's twin ideal, renunciation and service, and which is similar to the motto of Ramakrishna Mission, that is Atmano Mokshardham Jagat Hitayacha, which means that the true inner spiritual development is to be achieved through doing seva for the good of the world, a seva hinged on the selfless service and a renunciation through seeing the living God in the people being served. In this core organization, regular satsanga is conducted every week with the study of Holy Trio books and other spiritual and character building literatures, yoga, meditation, bhajans and chanting, etc. Special worship and festivals are also conducted for the welfare of the members and spiritual seekers as well. The activities of this parent organization are divided into 2 units. This parent organization is a spiritual guidance of all the units. The name of these units are Sri Sarada Sahitya Kala Vijnana Mandiram and Vivek Swadeshi unit.
Sri Sarada Sahitya Kala Vijnana Mandiram is an educational and cultural unit. This unit is trying to empower the young stars with knowledge and man-making character-building education and to preserve our great age-old culture and tradition. At present, this institute is providing training for Bharatanatyam, Sanskrit language, Vedic mantra chanting. Regular study circle for youth is also conducted where students are introduced with meditation, bhajan, chanting, yoga, Ayurveda, Vedic science, Indian history, Indian glories of Mahapurusha's lives, moral, scriptural and patriotic stories, science and innovation, etc. Spiritual and educational excursion various cultural program, spiritual and cultural get-together, games and sports, various social program like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and tree plantation, etc. are also conducted occasionally for the young students' welfare. Vivek Swadeshi unit is another unit. This unit is trying to promote Swadeshi agriculture, Swadeshi cottage industries and other locally based small scale industries and many other Swadeshi practices to inspire youth entrepreneurship towards building a self-reliant India, which is the vision and the dream of Swami Vivekananda. In this model, Swadeshi farming process, only desi breed of seeds, biofertilizers, biopesticides and other Indian traditional methods are used by this unit. Moreover, this organization carries out service activities to the needy people by distributing food, clothes, blankets, books, etc. within its limited capacity in various occasions. Now most of the activities are being carried out through online due to COVID pandemic. May the work of this institute be sustained long with the grace of Holy Trio and the wishes of the admirers. Hari Om Tat Sat. Jai Ramakrishna, Jai Ma, Jai Swamiji.
Yes, brother, continue, please. Ashwin, brother.
Thank you very much, sir. And now we will be displaying the email ID. Please send the questions, whatever you are having, which you have sent through the chat box, through to this mail. Some of the questions we have picked from the chat box. Definitely, we will send these questions to the Murthy sir. As Murthy sir mentioned, replies will be sent to you. We will be displaying the mail ID.
It's a concluding prayer.
Yes, sir. One student is there, sir.
Please, Rishikesh, please unmute yourself and do the concluding prayer. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. After that, Kirtana will do the Jayadvani.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayah. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Panam Namastu.